Hello, and welcome on in, everybody. I hope you are having a good day so far. In today's video, we are speaking about Defiler again, but we are moving over to Valby for this one. However, I do have a couple of disclaimers and things that I should be letting you know about before we get into the rest of the video. Number one is that by no means is this an effective, efficient, or easy farm to do. While Valby can kill Defiler in a reasonable amount of time, anywhere between, I would say, 40 seconds and 1 minute, it's going to be very inconsistent. A lot of RNG is going to come into effect on whether or not you get a decent time clear. So my opinion for anyone watching the video who wants to defeat Defiler with a Valby is by all means go for it. If you want to just get the kill with Valby so that you know you can get the kill on Defiler with Valby, you're more than welcome to do that. However, it's not going to be a very practical thing to do. You have far better Descendants to do that with, and somewhere on the screen you'll have a link to my previous video where I showed off Glay with the dagger build that has a 6-second kill on Defiler. There are many other Descendants as well, like Haley, that can do crazy damage with different weapons. There's a Greg's reverse fate you can use. So there are what I'm saying is there are better options to use than Valby. But if you do love Valby and you want to try it out every now and then, or if Valby is the only character you don't have Ines, you don't have Glay built up and all those things, then by all means you can go ahead and do what you have to do in order to get that Defiler kill. Okay, now that is out of the way, let's move on to the build that you are going to need. So the first thing that you are going to need is the Peacemaker. The Peacemaker is a weapon that you can farm for from Gluttony, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't done it in a long time. I mean, I got all the parts for it a while ago, so I haven't really been playing Gluttony, and I don't think many people have. But I'm pretty sure you can get it from Gluttony. If not, I will post editing a note somewhere on screen just to let you know if it is from Gluttony or not. However, moving on, we're going to use the Peacekeeper, and for no reason at all, not because the weapon is strong, not because it's a meta weapon, but because of the unique ability that it has, which is Surge in Peace. And that states that when using a Dimension or Fusion skill, it grants the unique ability Single Reload of Peace. And if we go down to the bottom over there, it says when you trigger or when you have Single Reload of Peace and you have the gun build up, with 4 enhancements in it and it's at max, your trigger rate will be 100%. So whenever you use a Dimension or a Fusion skill, that means you will automatically proc Single Reload for Peace. It has a duration of 15 seconds and a max stack of 5 seconds. It doesn't cost you anything, but what it does do is it increases non-attribute skill power, and it stacks up as well to 5 times. So what that means basically is that you could have a nearly, I would say, 50% increase or 55%. I'm not quite sure how that works, because you get a non-attribute skill power boost, which is 5%, but then it says it's you get extra per stack. So I don't know if the 5 stacks add on top of the 5% or not. I haven't tested it out yet. I'm not gonna lie to you. You could say between 50 and 55% increase in your skill power. And that is the reason why we are using this, because when you are killing Defiler with Valby, you are mainly going to be focusing on using your first ability, which is Bubble Bullet. Bubble Bullet can melt him if RNG goes your way, if everything goes right and the fight goes smooth. And on top of that, you will be using your Laundry Bomb as well at a specific time, I would say. I mean, there is no right timing for it. You could use it in the beginning of the fight, you could use it just before he's about to be staggered, or like you will have to find your way around using your Laundry Bomb. What I usually do is I will have a look at his enrage meter. So once his enrage meter starts to get like it's nearly full, I will run closer towards him. I'll bait out his slam attack, and while he does that animation, I'll roll behind him while proccing my 4th ability to cancel the animation as well, and then I'll start firing my laundry bomb. With any luck, he would either be staggered before you even get your laundry bomb out, or your laundry bomb will stagger him. There is the off chance that you just don't do enough damage and he ends up going into his enraged state, which is not really the worst thing. At that point, you just kind of have to die so that your build can start taking into effect. And for the build, as always, you have your sub module, and I say it every time, it doesn't matter which sub module you use, as long as you have a sub module in there. The main purpose for it is so that you can get the extra module capacity. A lot of people don't know that, and that is why I just cover this every single time. So yeah, you get plus 10 capacity for any mod that you socket into here. However, if it is catalyzed, it will go from plus 10 to plus 15. But also, the reason why you get the plus 10 is that you have to enhance the mod. So you have to go and get it all the way up so that you can get the maximum value out of it. For the build, we're going to go fairly straightforward. It's going to be a glass cannon build. There's going to be no HP mods on here whatsoever. Remember, this is a fast way to kill Defiler. If you're going to start substituting mods and substituting your power for survivability, then it's going to take you even longer. And this is already a very inconsistent and long kill in my opinion. So you want to just go all in or nothing, right? So we're going with the glass cannon, and that involves your two focus mods, which is focus on fusion and focus on non-attribute. This will give you a skill power boost in your skill power modifier. On top of that, we're going to add fusion amplification and non-attribute amplification. The reason why we go with fusion and nothing else is because Valby's first and fourth ability are fusion abilities. Second and third ability are dimension. We're not going to be using that at all because you get the most bang for your buck out of the first and fourth ability. So we went into fusion with regards to skill power. On top of that, we have added spear and shield because it gives you extra 8.1% skill power increase. It doesn't sound like much, but again, if you go in for a glass cannon build, you might as well go all in and squeeze every bit of damage you can get out of it, right? We're going to have our cooldowns, which is always essential, which is your nimble fingers and your MP conversion. And then the last two will be skill expansion and amplification control, because you want to make sure that you have a nice big area of effect, so that if you do mess up a bubble bullet, you don't have to worry because the chances of him being inside of the radius of it will still be big enough. So that is perfectly fine. So that is a complete build. And then last but not least is dangerous ambush. You can play around with different types of mods here, but I found that the most consistent damage numbers and the most consistent kills involve dangerous ambush. And this is why I said that if he does reach enrage, chances of you surviving are going to be very slim. It's just going to drag everything out. So what I would suggest you do is, if Defiler reaches his enrage, you just use your bubble bullet and you use your laundry bomb and try and die in the area where you shot your bubbles, so that when you die, he's still inside of it. And because when you die, that doesn't count as the boss targeting you, that is where your dangerous ambush will come into effect, because what it says is when landing a skill attack while the enemy is not targeting you, your skill power is increased by extra 25%. So that is going to be in your favor as well. That is basically the only two times that you will be able to proc that first bit of it, is when he's not targeting you, which is when you die, and the only other time is when he doesn't target you, is when he's immobilized. Then you'll get both 24% and the 49% increase in skill power. So don't be afraid to die, because a lot of people would even say that dying is a better thing to do on Valby, because that is when you get the most value out of your build. Moving on to your reactor and your external components. So for the reactor, you're going to go for a materialized mixture reactor, and it's going to have your non-attribute skill power boost ratio and fusion skill power boost ratio. Again, remember our first and fourth ability on Valby are fusion based abilities, so you want to have a fusion reactor for this. And then your optimization needs to be hand cannon, because you want to make sure that you're getting the most value out of your reactor based on the weapon you have. And because we are using the Peacekeeper, you have to have a hand cannon weapon mounting for that. With regards to your substats, it could vary depending on what you want. You could go for a fusion and a non-attribute gold, or you could go for a fusion or non-attribute, and your second one can be additional skill attack when attacking a Colossus. I think those would be your best bets. The best, in my opinion, would be a double gold. One would be fusion and one will be skill attack when attacking Colossus. And the reason why I say fusion and not non-attribute is because you get more multiplier out of your fusion than you would for your non-attribute. So again, it's not the biggest difference in damage, but again, we're going for a glass cannon build, so we want to make sure that we can squeeze the most value out of our build that we possibly can. For your external components, you want to go with the Slayer set. I myself farmed a bit pre-making this video to get a decent set, because I never had a decent set before. I don't really use the Slayer set much because I am a Glay main, so I'm mostly using the Annihilation set or the Volcanic set, and now more recently I've been using the Veteran set as well, which is purple. But yeah, the Slayer set, what you're looking for on your auxiliary is you want MP recovery out of combat. You need to have that. You can get max HP as a secondary substat as well. That would be beneficial to your survivability, but the main thing you'll want is MP recovery out of combat. You'll want to have that gold if possible. For your sensor, you want to have max MP and you want to have MP recovery in combat. You could have both purple or both gold, or one gold, one purple, but you want to make sure you have those two stats in your sensor. For your memory, you want to have MP recovery modifier. That is beneficial. That is the most important stat to have on your memory. And then on your processor, you can have MP recovery modifier as well, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I was farming a bit this morning and I never found anything. The best one I could find was shield recovery and my Sieve display, which is, I mean, it doesn't add any benefit to me whatsoever. I guess maybe the shield does somehow in some way. But yeah, as long as you have those three on top, you have your MP recovery in combat, your MP recovery modifier, and your MP recovery out of combat. That will give you the ability to spam your skills in the beginning before the fight, build up your stacks so you can get the best out of it. With regards to your inversion reinforcement, I wouldn't say there's anything you need to really worry about when it comes to the attribute side of things, because we're not using our weapon at all. It's mainly just skill based damage that we are going to be doing. But if you do decide to use a weapon in between, if you run out of MP, if your build isn't as optimized as it should be, you can put on electric focus rounds, because Defiler is weak to electric, so you can do that. However, other than that, I wouldn't say there's anything else you need to worry about. Anyway, that is it for the video today. I hope I've given you a bit more insight into using Valby. Again, as I stated in the beginning, I wouldn't recommend using it. However, if you want to, you're more than welcome to do that if it's your only option, or if you just want to have a bit of fun. It's all up to you. As always, I am on Twitch daily. You can catch me over there. I'll pop the link in the description of the video. If you want to come and chill, have some fun, speak about bowls, if you want to do a couple of activities together, I'm always down to help or assist people with anything. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, make sure that you eat, make sure that you hydrate, but most importantly, take care of yourself. Bye bye for now.